Hey everybody, Jake here, and welcome to my first ever movie log. I run the account Steelbook Obsessed. I also run the account Steelbook on Letterboxd. I have been using the app since 2017, and this year specifically, I wanted it to be a mission where I logged something new every day. I should have been making videos on this. I didn't think about it until right now, but I thought, hey, it's November. I've got some things to talk about. I'm going to start making this a weekly, bi-weekly series where I talk about all the movies that I've been watching. And here's my stack for this week. A lot of new releases. That's my goal for November normally, up until Thanksgiving is over. And then from Black Friday until Christmas, it's nonstop Christmas movies for me. But right now, I'm trying to play some 2024 catch up, and that's what a lot of this stack is. A lot of it is that. A lot of it is newer releases. Some of it is movies that I watched with my daughter, which was also a fun time. But let's waste no more time and start just going down this stack that I have right in front of me. First up, we have the Bikeriders. Yes, Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, Jodie Comer. Very, very fun movie here. Very, very vibe movie. If you liked hangout flicks, like Dazed and Confused is like the main one that goes to my head, or The Outsiders, just movies where a group of people come together, you get to know them a little bit, but there's a core within that group to where you really get to know them, and the relationships and the back and forth battles between like power struggles. That is the Bikeriders, and I had a very entertaining time with this. I thought, once I got past the different types of accents that were happening here, because Jodie Comer and Tom Hardy both had accents where I'm like, what is happening here? Jodie Comer does a voiceover for the first like 10 minutes of the movie where she's like talking to somebody who's interviewing her. And the first 10 minutes, I'm like, am I gonna get used to this voice? Because it's so out of left field, so not where my Midwestern ears have heard a lot of. But yes, I finally did get over that. That was the biggest hurdle that I had to jump. And yeah, had a really fun time with this. Anything with Michael Shannon is going to give brownie points to the film. Norman Reedus is also living his best life on the motorcycle as this just used and abused grody of a person that I love. The side characters bring a lot of engrossing experiences to this film, but the main struggles between this trio on the front cover right here is really what you're in for. And if you are a fan of any of these actors, I think you should give this a shot because it's a very fun ride. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I will be sporadically popping up my Letterboxd reviews here as well, but there are going to be some movies that I only save for Letterboxd. So if you're not following me on there and you have an account, I would appreciate it. I've got like 2,500 followers on there. I have a lot of followers on social media, over 100,000 on TikTok, close to 10,000 here on YouTube, but it's my Letterboxd account that I am so proud of that many people follow me over there, because I wanted to talk about movies for the longest time. I remember taking a class in college, a film theory class, and the film critic from my local paper came and interviewed and did like a Q&A in front of the class. And then we were able to go down and ask him questions. And I asked, would you, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to be a film critic? And he just like scoffed. He's like, don't do it. You think you're going to be good at knowing anything about movies? You have no idea. And he knew none of us anyway, but he was just very, very full of himself. And he said that the pay wasn't great, and he is right about that. I just want to express my love of film in any outlet that I possibly can. And I guess one other segue here, one other venue that I love to personally talk about. There's two types of movies that I cannot get enough of in my life. One of them, coming of age films. Love them so much. And then the second is making of documentaries. I could watch both of those from sun up till sundown, and I would never get bored. The newest entry in the MVD Rewind collection, 1982 greatest geek year ever. If you ever watched I Love the 80s, I Love the 90s, 2000s, all the VH1 shows, Best Week Ever, all of that stuff, this is a more polished version of that because this brings in a lot of the people that were actually a part of those movies, of the movies of 1982. During a Nightmare Weekend, it's like a horror-based convention that came my way in September, the cast of E.T. was there talking about E.T. But before that played, there was a trailer for this documentary, and I'm like, that was very... I really liked the conversation that Henry Thomas and Dee Wallace and the person who played the brother and E.T. They had a very, very interesting conversation that was great. But they played like a 5-minute clip of this. And I'm like, I really want to see this too. So I'm glad MVD gave this a physical media release. Very, very cool. And it's awesome that it's going to be in my collection forever now. This sucker is very, very long and lengthy. I'm trying to see exactly how long it is here for you. 164 minutes. This documentary is 164 minutes. I binged it all in one sitting, which normally on anything like this, I like to be multitasking, I guess. I'm currently watching Doc with Chucky. I'm not all the way through it yet, but that's what I'm watching while I'm folding clothes, because these are like the perfect type of, okay, I can watch 10 minutes here, stop for a couple hours, come back 10 minutes, because it's kind of broken up into segments. It talks about E.T., it talks about The Thing, it talks about Poltergeist, The Wrath of Khan, Blade Runner, Star Trek 2. Like, there's a lot of great movies that this talks about. It also talks about some pop culture that kind of is running through the 80s veins in general. If you're a fan of these type of making ofs and just behind the scenes and reminiscing nostalgia pops like crazy, this is another solid one. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 because, again, I am a sucker for anything like this. And I do miss I love the 90s, 80s, 70s. Like, I'm shocked that nothing like that has come back, especially like in a YouTube form or something. But I mean, those people that were on there, they were comedians and a whole bunch of people that I only know from that show, and that's about it. But yeah, 1982. Recommend it if you like that type of content. Next up, we have another new movie that I'm not a huge fan. I have a soft spot in my heart for the original film, the original Twister. I popped in Twisters. And while the first movie has a soft spot in my heart, I live in Iowa. There's not a lot of movies that were shot in Iowa, but the original Twister was. This one more takes place in Oklahoma, the South. And this movie, I wanted to work a lot more than what it actually did. Very, very, very formulaic here. And that bugged me a bit more than what I thought it would. It's definitely playing for more of a general audience crowd, which is not a bad thing. I just wanted a little bit more from this film, I guess. Again, we talked about the trilogy of performers and the Bikeriders. There's another trilogy of performers here that I think maybe in like 10 years time, we'll see more of the filmographies of Anthony Ramos, of Daisy Edgar Jones, of Glenn Powell, and see if their star continues to rise or not. But those three were definitely the high point of this movie. Again, just trying to see where their relationships go, how they kind of come back in the third act and do things that I won't spoil here. But yeah, storm chasing, ain't it grand? And Glenn Powell has a truck, has a whole organization to where like they live stream everything. That's a cool new element to the storm chasing type of film. I loved how the truck had drills that kind of went into the ground, so a tornado could literally go over them and they're not gonna go anywhere. It's fine. I wanted to have more fun with the movie. I wanted to have more character development in the movie. This is just very bare bones. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I was borderline 2.5 or 3 on my personal star rating schedule, or star rating map that I have. 2-star is bad, 2.5 is kind of bad, 3 is good. And to me, I think this leans more to the good than it does the bad. And I am interested to watch this sucker again in, I don't know, 10, 15 years, like I said before. Here's a shot of the inside. During these reviews, I like to show off the packaging as well. I'll go back and show off the other two. But the Steelbook looks sharp. This sucker looks very, very nice. And the special features on here as well, there's special features on the 4K, which I always am a big, big fan of. Just because I don't have to pop in another Blu-ray just to play all the extra materials and stuff. But there's a fun making of on here. There's a blooper reel, which I'm always a fan of. This 1982 came with a poster and the disc, and then the inside of the room here is just all geeked out in nostalgia. Very, very cool. I won't show off the Bikeriders because that one is pretty plain Jane. But let me know what you thought of all of these movies that I'm talking about in the comments. This is one of the main reasons why I wanted to make a video like this, is so hopefully you've seen at least one of these movies and you can throw in your 2 cents in the comments, because I love to have a rapport with movies. I love watching movies myself. I love to hear everybody's opinion on what they think, especially Twisters. I want to see if more people liked that movie than I did, unfortunately. This spooky dookie season, I tried to watch as many horror movie remakes as I could. I got a good chunk in. I watched this one in November because I was still in the mood to watch some remakes. And again, movies that were filmed in Iowa, there's not a lot of them. Here is another one, and this is The Crazies. I like the first original George A. Romero, The Crazies, but it's a concept that I thought they could have built upon and just kind of elevated and throw a different version of that through a 2010s lens. And this movie I wanted to like so much more than what I did. I thought a lot of the acting was wooden. I don't know. The main reason why I rated this movie as highly as I did is because there are a couple of scenes that I'm still remembering in my head. There's one in a hospital with this guy. Everybody is chained up because they are infected, so the hospital staff kind of cling them very, very close to the vest so they're not going to move out of their chair. And then one of the infected come in and start killing them one by one, and there's nothing that they can do. They can just watch in horror. And that was very that's something that's going to be drilled in here for a little bit. There was another scene in the car wash that I thought was very inventive and had a very fun time. I wish there was more of that in this movie, but it's just a lot of, this reminded me of like a straight to streaming movie, straight to DVD movie from back in the day. I know this one had a theatrical release, but I don't know. The budget just wasn't there for this. Who ended up making this? Anchor Bay Entertainment. So this is a Lionsgate property now. I'm honestly kind of shocked that there has not been a Steelbook made from this movie. But Timothy Oliphant is the main actor here. He does a solid job. The rest of the gang, I'm really not. I don't know. The actions, the decisions that are made here, you're just like you do a whole bunch of face palms, and whenever that happens in a movie, more than a couple of times, I'm just like, oh God, kind of waiting for it to be over. But then you get those magical moments that are in this movie, and I'm like, okay, you got me back again. And you're just always wanting to tap the vein of more memorable sequences, few and far between. But those 2 scenes alone for me were memorable enough to, again, give this movie a 3 out of 5. I don't even know if I'd recommend it to a lot of people, but normally if I rank a movie 2.5 stars or lower, I'm gonna get rid of the movie in my collection because I've got enough movies in my collection. I don't need to have that many subpar movies in here. Borderline was thinking about getting rid of this, but there's a couple scenes that I will go back to. And that's it. That's basically it for me. We have a behind the scenes on here. Greg Nicotero did the special effects on The Infected. A couple of fun featurettes on this sucker. But God, let's talk about nostalgia. Family video sticker. I'm so glad that I kept this here, and I bought it for $1.99. Look at that. R.I.P. Family Video. I miss Family Video so much. But those are 4 movies. We have 5 movies left. I will briefly just touch on Play Misty for Me. I put out a actual review of the movie where I talk about the film, talk about the transfer, talk about the special features. I just wanted to bring this up just in case you did not see that pop into your feed, because what I will say is that this is one of my favorite transfers I've seen this year. If you want more detail into what I said, go check that out. If you're a fan of this movie, I cannot recommend this Kino Lorber 4K enough. But next up, let's go with, I have 2 older movies, 2 newer movies. So let's do old, new, shall we? I bought this version of Frogman at Walmart. TerraVision is a label that within the past 5-6 months I've kind of fallen head over heels for with their video violence, their WNUF. I wish I picked up that second version. They're going to come out with a standard version. I will pick that up then. This was a blind buy just because I wanted to support the label. They're going through a very hard time right now. They got evicted from their warehouse lot and they had to move. There was also a storm that happened over there that was not very kind to them. The company is going through the ringer, so I've been trying to throw a little bit more support their way than I normally would. Saw this in Walmart. Total blind buy. Had no idea what this was about. This is a found footage movie, folks. Found footage film about the mythological were-beings of Frogman. I'll toss the letterboxd review here. I'm not actually talking about Frogman. I love making of documentaries on special features, but I also love when the director throws his short films on here as special features as well. This release is chock full of amazing special features. And one of the short films, there's 3 short films on here. There is The Bloody Ballad of Squirt Reynolds, which is a very fun take on a slasher camp tale. Letterboxd review right there. There's also Every Time We Meet for Ice Cream, Your Whole Effing Face Explodes. Fun concept that kind of wasn't, I don't know, it didn't have super much to offer. Letterboxd review. But the one that I want to talk about today is When Susura Stirs. Because holy God, this caught me so off guard. I would have never looked this up. It's free on YouTube. This one is free on YouTube if you want to see it. But again, this is why I love to have the short films on physical media. I would have never searched this up on YouTube, but since it was here, I played it. I'm also a big fan of the subgenre of body horror, and this 10-minute short had some super inventive ways that played with that genre so well. This blew my mind. This was the best thing I've seen this entire couple of week span. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. If you're a fan of body horror in any way, if you're new to the genre because you've seen The Substance, I cannot recommend this short enough. If you go check out any of these and you're a fan of body horror, do this one. It's free on YouTube. It only takes 10 minutes of your time. I love reviewing really long documentaries like that 1982. I love reviewing normal movies that come out for mass audiences. And I love reviewing short films just because I feel like those need as much attention as any of the others. And this one, chef's kiss. So good. And I don't want to spoil anything either because there's a lot of great practical effects afoot in there for you to discover. I'm so excited for you to watch it. 3 movies left. Let's go over this one I really wanted to like. This one I've heard nothing but terrible things about. I'm like, it can't be that bad, right? Right? Borderlands? It can't be as bad as what people are saying, right? This is just a knockoff Guardians of the Galaxy. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Give me another version of that with frickin' Cate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, that sounds great to me. I like Eli Roth a lot. I'm rooting for this movie. So I popped in this movie and I was watching this movie and I was bored to tears with this movie, and it's not good. It hurts to say that it's not good. Some of the worst CGI I've seen in a newer movie, probably in the past 10 years. It's bad. Like, you can tell green screen shot bad. I don't know what else to say. Kevin Hart, for me, never worked in this movie. Cate Blanchett is too good for this movie, and she is the only reason to watch this, because Cate Blanchett does not play a lot of roles like she does in this movie. And you could tell she is just chewing up every scene. She's the big, super fun hero, the Indiana Jones architect of a hero, the Han Solo of this gang. She's great in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is swinging for the fences for a portrayal that I don't really know if it works all the way, but she's 1,000% committed. She has a fun time. Did not like Kevin Hart in this movie whatsoever. Jack Black as Claptrap. He is funny from time to time, but I would say it's a 50-50 split between jokes that I actually thought were amusing, and then the other side of the fence were jokes that I'm like, God, that is just cringeworthy. Ariana Roseblatt, is that her name? What is her name? Ariana Greenblatt, sorry. As Tiny Tina. Another thing. I was rooting for this movie because I'm a fan of the franchise, the gaming franchise. I've probably put 200 hours into Borderlands 1 and 2. I love those games so much, and none of that love is in this movie, unfortunately. Characters are in this movie, but none of, like, you're there to, loot, raid, and just find a whole bunch of fun goodies. And this tries for that, but it doesn't do it. I want more Bobby Lee in my life at all times. He's in this movie for 2 minutes, and I enjoyed his character, and I wanted more of it. This Steelbook looks nice. This Steelbook definitely looks nice. There's a lot of great, you think that there's a lot of great imagery to be had here, but man, some of the action works. That first action sequence, where they're kind of finding Tiny Tina for the first time, I was so appalled by how it looked. The Steelbook's great. Congratulations, Lionsgate. You got to work with what you got. Great job on the packaging. Movie 2 out of 5, and the only reason I gave it a half-star bump because of Cate Blanchett and how committed she was, and how much fun she brought to the table. It was a little infectious, but overall, bad, not good. Sticking on movies that just didn't work for me, I've never seen this movie before. My oldest daughter is starting to get into like the PG-13 realm. She watched Beetlejuice with me for the first time this year, went to see Beetlejuice. She really enjoyed that. We just got done watching Addams Family Values, which I haven't wrote a letterboxd review for, so that'll be in the next episode. But in that same realm, I thought Little Monsters would play to like the same tones, I guess. Maybe not tones, but just like the mood. My oldest daughter liked this. I was not a fan of this movie at all, and I love Fred Savage. Bonus appearance of Ben Savage, little baby Ben. That was fun. This movie did not work for me. They were playing off of a very, very tiny budget, and you could tell whenever they go into like the monster land, it looked just garbage. Just didn't like it. Didn't like Howie Mandel as the main monster either. It just never clicked for me whatsoever. The big kid group up that happens, I was just rolling my eyes. Maybe if I was 9 like my daughter is when she watched this, I would have liked it if I would have grown up with it. Seeing it through a mid-30s lens, it just, not a fan of this at all. Was a fan of seeing the older brother Buzz from Home Alone. He is in this as well. But those are like the main 3 people that I know. Both Savages, Howie Mandel, Buzz from Home Alone. I don't know, the rest of the movie wasn't great. There's a lot of special features on this sucker. I'm not going to take it out of the Malco protector. I will just show you this now. If I like the movie enough, I would kind of show off a little bit more, but for me, it is what it is. I gave this a 2 out of 5. I had 2 different versions of this. I had the Steelbook version and I had the slipcover version. I'm selling the slipcover version, keeping the Steelbook because I want a full Steelbook set, the good and the bad from Vestron. So hopefully this is the worst that this label gets, because this is definitely the worst movie I've seen from Vestron Video. But last but not least, a movie that I wish got a 4K, because I feel like it would have absolutely sang, because this movie I had a very fun time with, and it's in a very tropical setting, and I feel like it just would have looked so pretty in 4K. Blu-ray did not look bad. Blink Twice, the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz, starring a whole bunch of very fun actors. We got Channing Tatum. We have Christian Slater. We've got Haley Joel Osment. There's just a lot of... this movie's fun. This movie is a good time. This is Zoe Kravitz's first movie. This reminded me a lot of Jordan Peele's first movie, Get Out. Except instead of leaning on the racial tones between races, this was like a male-female perspective battle back and forth. And I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie throughout. You could get a lot of different filmmaker references that Zoe Kravitz really likes. I got quite a few Tarantino sprinkly bits in this sucker. I don't know. This is fun. A whole bunch of random people that work at as like waitresses and hostesses and whatnot go and sneak into a big, rich, super hoity-toity crowd, and they work their way to see this tech billionaire, Channing Tatum. Eventually, he invites them out to his island, and chicanery ensues. If you know anything about rich people and their own private islands, yikes. Yeah, you know it's usually not going to end well for the people that are invited there. Don't want to tell you any more than that. There are a couple of twists and turns in here. Some I saw coming, some I did not. So I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. It's a very solid watch if you have not seen it. I also have every single movie that came out in 2024 ranked from best to worst. Here it is, popped up right here. Blink Twice is up there, top 20 for sure. I don't know off the top of my head, but top 20 for sure. Next week, there are already a couple of movies that I've seen that I haven't logged. I'm trying to backlog a few for when I can't watch a movie a day. I can at least log a movie a day. There's a new movie that's going to be in my top 5 movies of the year, which is great to hear. And then I'll talk about my 4K thoughts on Addams Family Values, which was a very fun watch with the kids once again. But hopefully you liked this type of content, me reviewing, talking about movies. Hopefully you've seen a couple of these and you can throw in your 2 cents in the comments. But if you got all the way here, thank you for watching. And until next time, I'll see you. Ribbit. Hello. If you made it this far, then congratulations, you made it to the after credits scene. Good for you. Good for you. I threw up at the very end. I threw up my favorite movies of 2024 so far. And right now my favorite movie is Late Night with the Devil. It's the only movie that I've seen this year that's came out this year that I've given a perfect rating to. I've given a couple of 4.5-star movies. Furiosa is the one that comes to mind right away. My question to you is, what has been your favorite movie of 2024? Because again, I'm trying to play 2024 catch up, and there need to be movies thrown in the mix that I have skipped out on that I need to watch before year's end. So let me know what your favorite is in the comments. Thanks for getting this far. And what movie should I throw into your face now? Oh God. thunder? You hear that? The storms are coming. Got them tornadoes. Oh God, oh my God,